What's up, Flip Factor family? This is Michael Green with the Flip Factor Podcast, the #1 podcast dedicated to teaching you how to find and win high profit flips and manage your contractors so that you can make more money and have the freedom to do whatever the F you want. Today, I'm going to share with you how to manage your contractors so you can finish your flips like crazy quick, like super fast, right? Not slow, not snail-like, right? Like most of the time, not 6 months to do a 40K renovation, but really quick, get it done fast. I'm going to tell you some of my tips and techniques I've used over the years to get these things done ultra quick and create a competitive edge and keep my costs down. And also, we've got Delante Desouza. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him, but he is pumped up today. It's cold here. He's got his hat on, his camo, like he's ready to roll, man. He's ready to like take action and get serious about like house flipping because like, you had to take that army stance, like, right? You got to step it up.
You got to take your game to the next level.
Yes, for sure, man.
Yeah.
You can't get complacent around here.
Or else you get run over by contractors.
Who else? Contractors, whoever, wholesalers, contractors, yourself, right? I would probably say I run myself over more than anyone. They always like, it's you against the contractors. No, it's actually me against me.
Oh,
like, dude, that's some deep stuff. We had to slow it. It is
deep.
Me against me. It's like Tony Robbins up in here. But no, truly, we're our own worst enemy, our limiting beliefs, all these things. It's crazy how much we can either make profits go up because of our beliefs or down. I've had so many students over the years tell me like, Mike, your pricing's kind of low and nobody wants to agree to it. And then I've seen students take and say, yeah, you gave me your pricing. And I actually, the contractor funnel you set up for me, I used it. Instead of putting your pricing in, I put in lower pricing and people agreed to it. And I'm like, oh, that's a little different way to look at it, huh? Like, I didn't even think of that, right? Because I'm sitting there thinking like, well, my pricing's very fair. My people make good money, but there is room to actually even get it done cheaper, which is a great way to start. Because if you get some things done cheaper, then at least some room for other things that are a little more difficult to find. Maybe you pay a little bit more for those and balance it all out to be where you expected.
That's good. Yeah, I like that. I didn't even know that people were even pushing the boundaries even more.
A few people, most are not. Most are like, because it's our limiting beliefs. We think things, the contractors always tell us they'd like to make more money. We like to make more money, but it's not because our pay is unfair. It's always because they just aren't as fast as they need to be in order to be able to work within our system. So this is why we always focus on working with people who are subcontractors, who understand how to work by the unit, we call it, where essentially they get paid a certain amount of dollars per unit and they know how to get plenty enough units done every day that they can make a substantial amount of money consistently. When we find someone who thinks that way and knows how to work that way, they've generally put a high focus on speed and quality because they know if they can do good quality fast, they can make more money. And they don't have to spend all their time doing estimates and going out and marketing and buying nice trucks and getting an office space, having all those expenses. They can really run around in like a car or a pickup truck or a van and just have their tools, show up to work every day and make really good money.
So with that being said, Mike, I mean, it sounds like the name of the game is speed with this. So what's your process that you use to manage your contractor schedule so that, they finish your flips super quick?
So how I manage their schedule is really important. I mean, I'm always going to focus with contractors and make sure that, first of all, I have a schedule. I think that might be, and it sounds like it would go without saying, but a lot of times we're just like, hey, I'll start it on Tuesday. And no one ever says, okay, how long will it take you? And even sometimes when you specifically ask, they give you a vague answer like, yeah, not long. Maybe, like a couple days to a week. They like very rangy, right? They've got a range to it. Really good people do not range it. They have the ability to be very specific. So like I know as a subcontractor when I did flooring back in the day, like if someone said, I got 400 square foot of hardwood and you got to take carpet up and move furniture, I'd be like, oh, that's 2 days. With all the furniture, putting it back and all that stuff, taking all the demo, that would be 2 days work for me and my crew. And I knew that because I had to create schedules and I didn't want to have dead days or I also didn't want to tell people 2 days and take 3 and then they'd be really angry at me, right? So I had to be able to like commit to it. So good people know how to like gauge how long something takes. It's the first sign. If they don't know how long something takes, it's a really good sign that they're not optimizing their workflow because they don't even know. Like how do you know if you're doing well if you don't even know how long a job takes? Does that make sense? It means you're not measuring. What's the first thing we do when we're trying to figure out if something's working? We have to measure it. So if a contractor doesn't have the ability to measure, say, oh, okay, that's 1,000 foot of X, that should take this long. If they don't have like a pretty quick, it means they're not paying attention or not tracking. If they're not tracking, they don't really know. They're basically using their gut to determine whether they're getting done fast enough, right? They're like, it feels like I did a great job. Oh yeah, this feels really fast. But what if it isn't? What if it's kind of slow in comparison to like some of the people who are making really good money? And how, if you don't know if you're slow or fast, how How do you know to fix things? So we always focus on working with people who do actually have the ability to commit to a timeline. So I know this sounds really crazy, but for some of you guys who are working with contractors now, it's going to sound pretty familiar. Like, yeah, I never can get an exact time for my person. They're always kind of vague, and they never, tell me Tuesday, and it's always Friday when they're done, right? And which suggests they're not really optimizing and taking time, which means they're probably not making a lot of profits. So what we do is we always start with, okay, when will you start? When will you finish? And let me ask you, then we start to go into like, let me ask you, okay, what happens if you can't finish? Are you sure? And how many people will you have here? So we do what's called an upfront contract, where we actually talk to them, negotiate, we clearly communicate how long, how many people, how many days, are you sure? How certain are you? That kind of stuff. The reason we want to know that too is because we might have someone coming in right after them to start a job after they're done. Maybe another one of the line items that needs to get complete. And we don't want to schedule them a week later, right? We want to schedule them the day after, maybe 2 days after at max, so we don't have a lot of downtime, because it's one of the big things.
So once you schedule them, you get your schedule in. What's the next step after that?
Next step is you get that schedule in, and then once they're on schedule, one of the little techniques I like to use is maybe call them and just check in with them. If you're like, hey, you're starting on Tuesday, it'd be smart to call them on Monday and make sure they're still starting on Tuesday. And again, we start with just Tuesday, because I've had people many times be like, yeah, sometime next week I could start, right? That is not a schedule. That is not like, how do you know what to do from there? So like, hey, when you say sometime next week, I'm going to squeeze you in, put you on a time. When can I plan on you coming in? Do you know an exact date? Or because they might just be, when they tell you that, they might be seeing if they can find better work than yours or something else to do. And if they do, they might just push you off and not even do it at all. It's like almost like they're saying, yeah, I just want to keep my calendar free. Like, no, let's lock that calendar up. If you're going to do this work and you're serious, let's lock that calendar up and be really specific. So when people can't be specific. So the next step is get them really specific and then check in with them and confirm. My coach used to always say, Mike, is verify everything. Verify. So if somebody says they're going to come, verify the day before they're going to come. Verify the day of that they've actually came. If you're not meeting them there, maybe you work in, like I had a full-time job when I started doing this, so I couldn't be at the job when people started. So maybe you've given them a lockbox or something. Well, it would be great to call them that morning and make sure they've started. Call them at lunch or something. Hey, did you make it there? Everything okay? Anything you need? Anything I can help with? Got everything you need to go? Still looking good for, getting done in 3 days? Fantastic, right? A lot of problems are going to get solved there. I can't even tell you how many times someone was supposed to start on Tuesday. I got busy with like finding deals, doing all kind of stuff. Next thing you know, it's Thursday. And I'm like, I wonder how that's going. And they never came. They never started, never called, never did anything. So that's we don't want to lose that time. It's a big part of keeping that process real quick, is making sure you have manpower. And so when we talk about manpower, like most people don't realize this, if you hire one person to do your flip, it's going to take a really long time. If you hire one person who has 2 people working with them, it's still going to take a pretty long time. And that would be awesome to have like a 3-person crew that was doing a lot of odds and ends and pulling the job together, doing a lot of work. But if you really want your house done fast, you don't want to give it to one GC who has 2 or 3 people. You'd want to have someone who's like a GC, who's doing a lot of the jobs that matter, but I call more of a sub GC, like kind of subcontracting. You're really the GC. And then you want to bring more manpower in. All right. We call this stacking contractors. When you can stack contractors, meaning like, I'll give you a great example of one of my students, Darshan, right now. We're just talking the other day. He's got someone who's been doing some work, got him past rough ends. He's now ready to get sheetrock done. And he was like, he has this guy. He's pretty quick. The guy's not slow, but right now he can do tile, trim, doors, and cabinets all at the same time. When I explained to him, I was like, me and him are putting a strategy together, and we're building out a way that he can actually, instead of having like one guy do all 4 of those items, this would be a perfect time to bring in some new blood and test it against the current person he has. Meaning he might be able to tell that one person, hey, why don't you do the doors and trim? And maybe he gets a cabinet guy to do cabinets and he gets a tile guy to do the tile, and they can all work at the same time. So it's going to go a lot faster. If you got 3 different people doing the same thing, he'd probably get all that done in a week and a half, and be like, his flip be like really far along in a week and a half. But if he waits for one person, it could take 3 to 4 weeks to do. So that's stacking contractors. It's just basically not giving all jobs to one person, but stacking and getting other people to stack on top and make sure you're not. We also, stacking also means don't get your electrician and plumber to work together, right? Get people to work together in conjunction, so they're not like, oh, I don't start until the towel guy's done, or like, okay, the towel guy's in the bathroom, you're in the kitchen. Like, what's that got to do with anything?
Is that something that you just let them know up front? You kind of let them know, let's just say, these are new guys you haven't worked with before. Do you let them know up front, hey, like, I'm going to be having some other guys come in while you're doing this work to kind of handle these other things at the same time? Because I would imagine, at least, some contractors are probably a little territorial, right? They want to make money, so I guess they would want, more work for themselves, whether they are fit to do it or not. But how do you kind of establish that boundary to say, like, hey, here's the system I'm using. Let's work on that?
Yeah, the way I establish it is I don't really ever hire anyone to do a job. I don't say, hey, I need you to renovate my house, right? And I always hire them for a line item. So on our budgeting sheet, all of our students know that's how they estimate. They have line item budget and we get real clear, very concise. But when you're hiring jobs out, we just hire one thing at a time. You get to know someone, maybe you give them 2 or 3 things at a time, but you don't want to give them the whole list, because you give them the whole list, now you're kind of like committed, you married into someone. If they start falling apart a third through the list, it gets really weird and awkward because they feel like they given that job. So I give them small jobs, they prove themselves, and I give them more small jobs and they prove themselves. And as we start to get a good working relationship, what I'm paying attention to is, are they doing what they say? Are they keeping the promises they've made? Are these people honorable? Is their work quality good? Are they fast? Do they have a lot of life problems that make them slow? A lot of excuses, reasons instead of results. So the language we like to use, like, oh, this reason happened. Oh, this reason happened. That reason happened. Oh, bottom line is, a week goes by and somebody gets 2 days worth of work done, and that starts to happen more than just like a occasional event every year. Then that's somebody that has a lot of reasons and not a lot of results. And I can tell you, my best people, they rarely ever call out, and they'll probably work a Saturday or stay late a couple other days to make up for it. But they don't ever really they have no reasons. They just have results, and it's who we want to work with. We want people who can help bring consistency to our business. With that being said, then you always want to focus on hiring the right people and setting the expectations up front of, hey, like, I'm not hiring you for a job, but here's a job you could do within this job. That way, when you hire other people to do other line items, you've never promised it to them, right? And sometimes we want to do that, like, and this is where we all naturally lean, because we have someone who's doing the work and they're consistently doing it. We're like, well, let me just keep doing that, because that way I don't have to find a new contractor. I don't have to do a lot of work. It would just be easier. But is it really easier if that person takes forever? And is it really easier being, having that person have complete control over you? You being fearful if they decide to leave. What if they're like, Delante, it costs more than what you want to pay me? Sometimes they're like that, because see, some people are good at cabinets and trim, but they suck at tile. Not saying they can't do it and they couldn't make it look beautiful, but maybe it takes them 6 days to do it when a normal tile guy could do it in 3. So the guy doing it at 6 days is going to need to get paid more. So I don't want to pay someone for taking twice as long. I want to go and locate and identify the person who can do it in 3 days, so I can pay less, so I can get a fair price and they get in quicker. I get less holding time, less traffic jams in my flip. I want to get in and out and do things quickly. So set up the expectations up front. You should be fine. When you bring people in, it's all going to be good, because no one's been promised anything other than just the jobs they're currently doing.
Let's say, you're a newer investor and you're just starting to rehab from scratch, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't really have any guys that, are in your crew yet, guys that are your regulars, so to say. What it sounds like to me is that, in summary, what you want to do is create the schedule, just so you know what's going to be happening, and let the contractors know kind of what the expected timeline is. Once you have that, you want to call and confirm, verify everything, make sure, contractors are doing what they say they do, checking on the rehab every day, making sure things are moving. And whenever the opportunity presents itself, which it seems like more than a handful of times, you want to stack contractors. So get as many guys as you can working on different things in the house to kind of speed things along and get the process moving.
Yeah, exactly. Anytime you can speed up your renovation, trust me, you're going to need it. There's going to be times where, you went a little slower than you thought. So you can also combine that where times that you went faster than you thought, then you can equal it out a little bit and balance it some. But if everything just takes longer, then your whole rehab will take longer to inspect it. Your profits will be down. Your amount of work you put into it. So people don't even realize that. They're like, yeah, it took me 4 months to do it. And I'm like, should have taken me 2. And they think, well, not a big deal. It just cost me, $1,000 a month in interest. It wasn't a big deal. It's just $2,000. I still did okay. Look at it like your time. Respect your time. If you're going to do a flip, and let's say you average make 30 to 40K on your flip, and it takes you 2 months to do it, means you're making, say, 30K every 2 months, versus it takes you 4 months, you're making 30K every 4 months. So just by cutting your time down from 4 months to 2 months, you can literally double your profit. Because see, when your money comes back to you, you sell your house 2 months faster, then it gets opened up for you to buy your next flip. So now we really start to focus on opportunity, the value of opportunity. By doing it faster and more efficiently, you're able to create opportunity to do more. Right, you're still working the same hours, you're still doing everything the same, and you're not putting any more of your money out. You're just able to do more flips every year. So if you're finishing them and from start to finish, buy it, renovate it, sell it, you're doing that in 4 to 5 months, you can do 2 to 2.5 flips a year on one set of money and one set of people. If you're doing it like every 7 months, though, it's like 1.5 flips a year. So I always prefer 2.5, because that starts to get you, where you're making like 60 to 100 grand just doing it part time. And it gets real easy when people are under control and you're using the most efficient models. It gets easy to start stacking your flips. So we talk about stacking contractors, but a big part of how I've been able to do so much volume is I get really good at just doing, say, 10 a year. And once I master that, then I was able to do 20 a year pretty easily. Once I got 20 down, it wasn't very different to do 40. It was just me repeating the processes and understanding the exact systems to get people in, get the work done quick, to manage them. And I just had to start hiring people and delegating. But because my systems are so clear and so strong and so tested, it was very easy for me to hire people and then just bring them right in. It was like they just come right into the system, right? And a little bit of training, they're up and running very quickly. Life's easy. And, it's pretty cool when you can do that. But if you're doing 10 houses a year and it's a train wreck, then doing 20 will just make it a complete train wreck. You got to get things working first, right? Take the time to build a business that has a great foundation before you start stacking a skyscraper on it.
That
And it
makes a
starts
lot
with
of
this, right? It starts with getting them done quick.
Yeah, and I'm sure the contractors will appreciate it because once you get your flips done faster, that means they get paid more if you're using standardized pricing, like we talked about, because now they got more work to do. And now you're multiplying your profits for yourself, but you're also taking care of your guys too. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Very important too. I mean, I think I said this in one of the speeches I did and somebody laughed at me on Facebook. I was like, hey man, you got to make sure your contractors make a really good living also. I think people misread that, right? They thought I was saying like, you need to pay your
I'll pay them
contractors
too much.
more. No, or pay them too much, pay them more. No, we pay them very fairly. We focus on finding people who know how to get the work done quickly. So when they come into our standardized pricing, they can make a lot of money. And if someone is slower, then it becomes my duty not to hire them. Because even if someone would work for me and they're going to take a really long time, I know long term that somebody doesn't want to stay in my system long term if they're making $500 a week, right? I need to be able to have people making 80 to 150K a year in Maryland area. That's enough to have a very comfortable household living, pay your bills. I want them to do well, and construction's not easy. People don't want to work for 25K a year swinging a hammer, carrying heavy loads and all that. They will, but that would be someone who was learning. And then they can make 50, 80, 100 because now they're a lot faster, a lot better at what they do. So I only try to hire people. And that's a big part of our cracking the contractor code training, our whole system that we do. When we work with people in the mastermind, we're teaching them how to get people through, train your contractors to work within the system. We've actually anyone that's in the mastermind, we actually do the funnel for you, everything. Very done for you. And then all you have to do is just start using it, practicing it. And then we coach you on how to use it, how to get results. And next thing you know, all these problems go away. You have an army of contractors willing to work at your pricing. They're very happy. They're making money. So it's really cool stuff, right? I mean, me and you seen just recently, we had a dinner with the group and it was pretty cool. Every single person at the dinner had a flip and every single person at the dinner was using the funnel. And it was just really awesome to see, man. We've put so much work into this and helping people. And it was very cool to see how everyone was winning. We love winning. It's all cool, but we love when others win too. And it's kind of neat. And obviously the group has allowed us to make it this special because everyone out there testing it with us. We've gotten about 20 years worth of house flipping data in a couple of years of testing and paying attention through others doing it with us, which is really epic because it means I get to make more money because, the system gets better. You make more money.
That pretty much covers it, Mike. Thank you once again for sharing some awesome knowledge. And I think this is going to help a lot of investors who feel like their flips are going too slow or, things are kind of getting bottled up to kind of pick up the pace and get things going.
Yeah, the question's always in how to do it, right? And not lose your people, whether you have the right person. All these things are hard to know. If you want to learn more about cracking the contractor code and the systems we use, we got a free training. You can go to theflipfactor.net and there's a free training right on the front of the page. About 90 minutes, we go into these subjects much deeper. It's all free. It doesn't cost anything. If you decide after you listen to it, like, I really like to work with Mike and I can see the value in investing time, energy, and money working with Mike so that I can get all that money I'm losing back on my flips, feel free to send me an email at mike@theflipfactor.net and say, hey, Mike, I'd love to talk with you and just, talk about maybe joining the program. It does cost money. We tell everybody that it's not free, obviously, but the money you make, we keep it really affordable in comparison to a lot of the big gurus that I've spent $30,000 with. We don't charge anything close to that. And we do get results for everyone. So this is very different. We're not just teaching you and then hope that you figure it out. We're actually working with you to kind of build systems out. We're testing them, we're tracking them, and we're making sure that for every dollar you put in, you're getting a couple dollars back, right? It's just like a flip. You put $1 in, you got to get a couple dollars back. That's always the way we think of any investment. Working with someone like me is no different than that. You got to be able to put money into working with me, and I got to make sure you get it back, and we have to work together as a team for that. So you know how to reach us if you're interested. We always put that out there because we know there's some people out there wondering, like, I wish I could get some help. And we are here for you. Keep it a very small group. It is by application only. If you feel like you just jump out, like I said, mike@theflipfactor.net, and you can go to theflipfactor.net to get some additional training. If you just want to keep learning before you take some action, feel free to go there. So Flip Factor family, I appreciate you guys listening, and thank you so much for taking the time. And I hope this was really impactful. It's something you're going to go out and use. Anytime you get information like this and you just start learning a little bit every week and compounding that effect of being smarter, better, faster, you're going to make more money. You're going to have a better chance of doing this for a really long time, being happy at it. We're just happy to give this to you. So thank you for listening out there. And everyone, I'm Michael Green. My work is done. Yours has just begun. Stay awesome, everyone, and have a great day. See you guys.